Good evening and welcome to ITV Sports Select. Here's an equation for you. Arsenal, Newcastle United and the leadership of the Premiership. Judging by last time, it should add up to something very special.
Some tense faces reflecting the importance of this fixture. Here's Cole, back in and a goal! Brian sneaks in on the near post to equalise for Newcastle United. Robert is onside. He could win it here for Newcastle, and it's a penalty. And a great strike. Newcastle United take the lead. It's the same player, Robert, in the same position. That surely has ended the jinx.
Newcastle went top with their first win in London for 4 years, but Arsenal haven't lost since. Tonight the rematch, the whole game live from St James's Park. Well, it certainly was an incredible contest at Highbury back in December. We're hoping for more of the same. Joining me in the studio are John Barnes and Clive Allen. But first, we'll catch up with today's results and how the Premiership now looks. A couple of key ones. As far as the relegation battle is concerned, Bolton Wanderers won, Blackburn Rovers won. Rob Wallace in the 45th minute for Bolton. Andy Cole sent off in the first half for Blackburn. Matt Jansen got their equaliser. And affecting the Championship, Liverpool 2-0 winners at Fulham. Nicholas Anelka and Jari Litmanen with the goals for Liverpool. So let's have a look at the tables. The bottom three stay the same. Still Leicester, Derby, who play tomorrow, and Blackburn. But significantly, Bolton edge away from the relegation zone. Now, at the sharp end, Liverpool take a step up to second, but not for long if there's a winner at St James's Park. Newcastle will go top if they win. An Arsenal victory would put them second, level on points with Manchester United. So, fair to say, John, that matches don't come much bigger than this one.
No, not only because of today, but if you remember the first game when Arsenal really in the first half could have been 3 or 4 up until Pala got sent off. So they'll be looking for a little bit of revenge.
Clive, you were there that night, weren't you, at Highbury, and it was a tremendous game.
A fantastic game, and obviously Newcastle broke that bad run of form that they'd had in London. They haven't really looked back from there, and I feel that they are, if they're realistic Championship contenders, it's a game they need to win today. Now,
John, you can briefly run us through the initial Newcastle team news. We know about Craig Bellamy being out, and Shola Amiobi gets the nod. Yeah,
that'd be a big loss for them, but Amiobi, slightly different to Bellamy, very good at holding the ball up. Not the slowest, because he's quite mobile also, but for me, with Solano and Robert wide, they'll supply the ammunition for Shearer, and very strong at the back. Hughes, O'Brien, Debizes and Distin, all of them can play centre-back, so they're very physical, very strong, and Jenas, it's interesting to see how Jenas actually does, but I think that Bellamy could be a big loss for them.
Carl Court on the bench, do you think he'll be a bit disappointed?
Well, I think he'll just be happy to be even involved.
Yeah.
You know, he's had a horrendous run of injuries, and just for the fact that he's there, albeit on the bench, would give him a boost.
Clive, what about the Arsenal lineup then? Thierry Henry is out.
Yeah, that big
Some
news.
sort of abdominal strain. We don't know too much more about it at the moment.
With him missing for this game, and obviously with the disciplinary hearing coming up, Will Todd pushes up to play alongside Bergkamp. Strong in midfield. I think Perez outstanding this season, along with Vieira. Laurent comes in a right midfield position, and Luzhny filling in really at left back.
Laurent will be happy there, won't he? That's his better position, really, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's his favoured position, a position he played well for when he was in Spain at Mallorca.
OK, now, what about the psychological effect of Henry's absence, on this match? On Arsenal, first of all?
Well, it is going to be very interesting how both sides cope with the losses of their main men up front. I think it's the pace that both of those strikers possess, in particular Henry. He just gives them that option, particularly away from home on the counter-attack with his great speed. And it's something that Will Todd isn't slow, but I think that Henry, in the form he's in, will be dearly missed.
Well, I'm sure Newcastle will be happy enough. Thierry Henry's furious outburst after the final whistle sticks in the memory from the last time these teams met. Not least because it's only just being sorted out. Henry faces the FA on Wednesday. And that's annoyed Bobby Robson, who says the Frenchman should have been banned by now. But he gets his wish today anyway. Henry is missing. Let's hear from the Newcastle manager. He's talking to Dave Jones.
Well, Bobby, it was a night of some drama at Highbury in December. Are you expecting a similar kind of contest tonight?
Oh, I should think so. I mean, obviously Bellamy's not playing, and I believe that Henry's not playing, although I'm not sure yet. And Dye's not playing, three of the quickest players in the Premiership. So that'll be a miss, I think, for the public. But two well-structured teams, obviously not much between them, with youth and experience and quality and competitiveness. It's all there in both sides. We're neck and neck. You know, they're in the FA Cup, so are we. We play each other. We're neck and neck in the league, so I think the expression is there's nought between us, or not much. And today is massive for both of us.
If you're missing Bellamy, they're missing Henry, does that even things up, do you think?
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, Henry's uncatchable. And if he doesn't play, I'll be happy. But Bellamy's in there. He's in the same boat. I mean, he's been stunning this season here at St. James's. Terrific speed. And getting better every week, clever on the ball, and great foil for Alan Shearer. I mean, Alan's loved playing with him, and I think, you know, that's been in reverse as well. We just hope the injury isn't a lasting one.
Amiobi starts.
It's a big responsibility for Amiobi tonight, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but I'm sure they'll take the weight of the world off his shoulders in terms of being up front with Alan Shearer, who'll talk him through the match. He's an England under-21 international. He's played a few games. He's come on and he's scored for Newcastle. He's done well, so I don't think there'll be that much pressure on him. I think that the more senior players will be the ones who want to take all the pressure, but he's a very, very good player.
Will they play in a different way when they haven't got the pace of Bellamy to rely on?
Yes, and Bellamy really has improved as the season went on, and I think that he'll be sorely missed. Amiobi's not as quick, but he gives you an option because he's bigger, he can have the ball into his feet, although that is also a Shearer's game, so maybe they're very similar. So I think that they'll probably suffer a little bit more than Arsenal with the loss of Bellamy.
Now, we're talking about the strikers, but what about Shay Given's contribution to Newcastle this season?
He's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, I was at Newcastle with him, and Steve Harper got in the side, and they brought Shay straight back in when he was fit, and you can see why, because Steve Harper is a very good goalkeeper, but Shay is, for me, apart from Dudek, the best goalkeeper in the Premiership this year. That was a great save, very agile, very brave. Crosses, possibly not the best because of his size, but a great shot stopper and very quick as he gets up here to smother the one from Alan Smith. You know, he really has put them, I mean, you talk about Schmeichel getting 10 points for Manchester United to win the league. I think that he's a big part of why Newcastle are where they are.
OK. Now, around 20 minutes until kick-off at St James's Park. Arsenal are unbeaten away in the Premiership. Newcastle have won 10 of their last 11 at home. We'll see you and Nikos Dabizas in a couple of minutes. Right now, here's Arsene Wenger.
It's a massive game, and like every week, when you want to play for the title like we want to do it, you know that every point, every 3 points are important, especially more when you play against direct contenders, but as well a way and a good chance to show how strong you are.
Match live. The atmosphere building at St James's Park will certainly be one of the big evenings of their season for Newcastle United against Arsenal. Two teams who share 107 goals between them this season. The defenders must be sweating right now. Greek international Nikos Dabizas is the rock at the heart of the Newcastle backline, and he's been talking to Tom Skippings.
Now pay attention, here's how to guarantee yourself a good week as a Newcastle United player.
It's a case that everybody says that no matter score, it doesn't matter who scores the goals, but for that special game, you know, it always matters who's going to score that goal. It's going to be a very special goal, and everybody will remember it.
But scoring that special goal against Sunderland is already just a memory. Because here's how to guarantee yourself a tough week as a Newcastle player. Start by meeting Arsenal in the league. Then face Liverpool at Anfield. And finally play Arsenal again, this time in the FA Cup, all in the space of 7 days.
There are 3 massive games ahead of us, and it's not a secret that if we can do well in these 3 games, we will retain our position and will be thinking much more different than we're thinking in the beginning of the season, even in the middle of the season. The most important week, I think I will say, for our team for this season.
First up, a Premiership reunion with Arsenal, bringing back another special memory. Highbury, December the 18th, 2001, the night Newcastle became serious title contenders. It was the first time they'd gone top of the Premiership, and the last time Arsenal lost.
Nobody will believe that we will win that game with that score, but that's football.
We played as well against Newcastle as we did against Leverkusen, but we were unfortunately down to 10 men, had some bad decisions against us. But we played very well, and that's why we have just to keep going and playing well like we did against them at home.
I think from that, after that game, there's a different era around that club, and not inside but outside as well, how people will see Newcastle United from now on. People here consider their football, you know, their team, so important for their lives. You know, it's part of their lives. If we won, the city is happy, you know, and if we don't won, things are not so well. It's very, you know, common to say that he's a good manager, he's very enthusiastic about the game, and he's very experienced. I think everybody knows that. The only thing that I can say is that he's a very, very clever man. This is the kind of games that they will stay deep in the back of your mind, and you will be stayed forever. And you want to be involved in these kind of games, and I'm no different.
I suppose he qualifies now as a Newcastle stalwart. He's been there about 4 years and it just seems to get better and better.
Yes, when I was at Newcastle, he was there, and he came over on difficult circumstances. The team was doing particularly well, and if you think a lot of the Greek players who came over at the time, George Donis, Georgiadis, they fell by the wayside. He stuck it out. A lot of players came and went, and he stayed. Good character, good solid defender, international, very important for, I mean, Aaron Hughes is a youngster, although he's quite experienced. O'Brien came from Bradford, he's playing alongside him. He's a good talker, very good in the air, and a solid character, you know, and he really has been very dependable. A bit inconsistent when he first came, but really dependable now, and from set pieces in both boxes, as you saw at the game against Sunderland, he'll be very important.
Could have his work cut out tonight. There's a lovely quote from Shay Given this week saying that Arsenal, when they're in full flow at the moment, it's like watching the Red Arrows.
Yes, it is. Of course, you know, no Henry, so they'll be glad about that. But as Clive said, Lauren goes into his favourite position, and Wiltord probably playing in his favourite position as well. He's been playing wide right, but he's a front man. That's where he played for Bordeaux, and that's where he wants to play, so he'll be up for this game as well. But without the threat of the real pace of Henry, not that Wiltord's slow, it'll probably be a little bit easier for them.
I suppose if we're looking for something spectacular, we don't need to look much further than Dennis Bergkamp, though, Clive.
No, I think since he came to the Premiership, he really has enlightened it. His mercurial talents at times, and certainly when their games are tight and defences need to be unlocked, as we see here in the Champions League against Juve, fantastic skill and awareness, brilliant ball for Lundberg for him to finish it off. And Bergkamp possesses that talent. We saw it again in midweek in the Champions League against Leverkusen. Just sublime skills, really magnificent. And these were big games. This is a big game today, and certainly Bergkamp can handle that, and he could be a vital component for unlocking that Newcastle defence.
I wonder how much it means to him as well, all these injuries at the moment, but it's a great chance for him to really shine in the team, isn't it?
It is, yes, but you just know what you're going to get with Dennis Bergkamp. I think he thrives on the big occasions, and certainly he'll be looking forward to today's game.
And talking creativity, what about Robert Pires too?
Well, I think he's had a sensational season, and I think he's certainly, for me, a contender player of the year. I think, you know, he's playing on that wide left-hand midfield position, but he's prepared to move around. And one of his greatest assets is his awareness. Here, getting in behind the Leicester defence, but you know that's superb skill. Doesn't panic, gets behind defences. Great skill and desire to get in dangerous positions. But then that's superb play. And you know the strikers will certainly appreciate that. He's a provider, but also he's a goal scorer. Look at the head movement here. He knows exactly where the two players are. He uses them as decoys, and then an exquisite finish. And for me, as I say, a serious contender for Player of the Year.
Smashing. OK, well, the stage is set. The Magpies can hit top spot with a win. Arsenal will go into second if they take 3 points. The first half is right after this break.
That interests me, but I have to say that I think with Arsenal's fantastic away form, just perhaps this is the time where Newcastle drop away in the championship race. I hope not, but I just feel that this might be a pivotal week in their season.
As a former Newcastle man, John, is that a bit over-pessimistic on Clive's part?
Well, I mean, even if they lose this match, I don't think they'll fall away because they still have a game in hand, so they'll still be there or thereabouts come the end. But it's going to be a difficult match. I don't think it'll be as open a match as we saw at Highbury, you know, in Newcastle's 3-1 victory. I think it'll be much tighter. Defensive will be more solid. And I think that without Henry, I think Newcastle possibly could just sneak it. I think that the Geordie fans at home will get behind the team, and that could just be the telling factor.
We'll certainly find out a lot tonight, won't we, about Newcastle as championship contenders.
Well, we've been saying that all season, and they've really had some good results against some of the big teams also. So, you know, once again, this is another test for them, but you're right, it will be a big test.
OK, well, high time we got on with the action. Let's join our commentary team at St James's Park. It's Brian Marwood, and first, Alan Parry.
Welcome to the unique atmosphere of St James's Park for one of the matches of the season in the Premiership as Newcastle United take on Arsenal in front of 52,000 fanatical fans. Well, Bobby Robson really has performed a miracle in his short time here on Tyneside, and a club that was one place off the bottom of the Premiership when he took over will go top of the table if they beat Arsenal here tonight. Brian Marwood, for all Bobby's protests that they won't win the title, if Newcastle can win this match tonight, they'll certainly be in a wonderful position.
Well, it's been quite remarkable, the job that Bobby has done here on Tyneside. And I think that it's been down to hard work. It's about putting together a side full of quality, a side that's got a lot of strengths in various areas. They have been robbed, of course, of Craig Bellamy, which will be a massive miss for them today. But I think in general they've done such a super job, really, turning this side into an outfit that I believe is still capable of challenging right through to the very end.
Well, we're all hopeful of a classic here tonight. Brian, what impresses you most about these two sides?
Well, I just think the pace of which both sides can break. I think we're going to see a couple of examples here. The first one, Newcastle against Middlesbrough, defending in their own box, and then the pace really to drive, the purpose to try and... He really always delivers. And again, unfortunately, we're going to show Middlesbrough, and it's Arsenal breaking from a similar position. And this time it's Robert Perez who really has had a wonderful season for Arsenal, that ability to pick passes and that quality in front of goal to just go and finish great moves off like that.
Well, you live in the northeast, you used to play, of course, for Arsenal, so you're in a unique position to judge. First of all, do you think the people up here, the supporters, believe that Newcastle can win the title?
Alan, they always believe. Every year they go into a season believing, because that's what it's about up here. It's about football and nothing else. They've got great passion for the game, and I think that they've been waiting an awful long time. You see some of those fans there, and, you know, they'll talk about the Malcolm MacDonald era, but now they're potentially in an era where they could go and win a championship. And it's been a long, long time since they've ever got close to doing anything like that. And there's real belief in these parts, but you know, you can't neglect what Arsenal have done this season. If they could have put together any semblance of home form to go with a wonderful away record of being unbeaten in the Premier League, then they really would have been clear of the rest of the sides around them. And I'm sure Arsene Wenger will be pointing to that fact going into the final hurdle, if you like, of this season.
Earlier today, Liverpool leapfrogged both these clubs to move into second place, just a point behind the champions and Premiership leaders, Manchester United. United now on 57 points, Liverpool 56, then come Newcastle United on 55, Arsenal down to fourth place, they have 53 points. But I think, Brian, Arsenal are many people's favourites for the title, and arguably they're playing better than anyone at the moment.
Yeah, they are. I think defensively it's really important that they get some key players back, because we've seen already how well they attack, how well they go at sides, and they've scored lots of goals this season, very similar to Manchester United. It's quite ironic, isn't it, that when you do look at that top four, they've got so many goals about them, but defensively they have looked a little bit suspect. And Manchester United were inflicted with that for a brief time. Arsenal have been inflicted with that. Newcastle at times have had problems at the back, but when you've got the type of attacking ability that both sides are capable of showing, then I think that's been one of the great things about the Premier League this season. There's so many teams that want to go out there, want to score goals, and want to play entertaining football, and I really think we're going to be in for one of those games today.
Plenty of relaxed and smiling faces in the dressing room corridor, but even for experienced players like these, I think the nerves might get to them when they come out and hear the noise in this magnificently rebuilt arena. It really is something special, a throwback in time. This is how football grounds used to be. He's suspended for European games, returns in defence, and Lauren has recovered from his midweek injury.
Without Tony Adams, without Martin Keown, so Arsene Wenger delighted to get David Seaman back into the side. They've also got the experience of Lee Dixon and Sol Campbell at the back, but we talked about Newcastle going forward. Arsenal have been equally exciting. Lauren will fill in that role on that right-hand side. Vieira will look to break from midfield. Raimondi will just sit in there, try and protect the back four. But Robert Perez is the more difficult one really to cope with. He'll either go wide left, he'll cut inside, he'll have a little foray amongst the front two as well. He's difficult to track down. And up front, well, they haven't got Henry, but they've got Viltord, got great pace. And Dennis Bergkamp will just look to drop into that area between midfield and attack. He's got that wonderful ability to spot very clever passes.
A big occasion in the life of this young man, Jermaine Jenas, who starts his first game for Newcastle at St James's Park less than a month after his transfer from Nottingham Forest and having celebrated his 19th birthday just 2 weeks ago. Arsenal's Lee Dixon is at the opposite end of his magnificent career. 37 now, over 600 appearances for the Gunners behind him. Dixon starts his first Premiership match since the corresponding fixture on this ground at the end of last season. That game ended 0-0, and that was the last time that Arsenal failed to score in the Premiership. They are, in fact, the only team in all 4 divisions of English football who scored in every single league game this season. The teams will be doing it all again here in just over a week's time in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. And before that, Newcastle have another big date. They meet Liverpool in a Premiership clash at Anfield on Wednesday night. Quite a week for Bobby Robson and his team. Bobby, who yesterday spoke at the funeral of Sir Walter Winterbottom, the man who gave him in his playing days his first ever England international cap. On the opposite bench, Arsene Wenger, over 5 years in charge of Arsenal now, and going through the biggest injury crisis he's ever known. I mentioned some of the players unavailable: Adams, Keown, Cole, Van Bronckhorst, Ljungberg, Parler, Jeffers, Upson, Taylor. There'll be a few clubs in the Premiership happy to field an 11 like that. But Newcastle have their own men missing. Craig Bellamy, we've mentioned, no Kieran Dyer. Neil Barry is the referee on a beautiful, mild evening here on Tyneside. Arsenal, red and white. Newcastle United, black and white stripes. And the relayed pitch here at St James's Park should do credit to the occasion. Everything is set for what should be a very special 90 minutes football. Patrick Vieira straight away in possession. Rimondi and now Luzhny for Arsenal. The Newcastle fans demand early pressure against opposing teams here, and they usually get it. Dixon's clearance. Difficult bounce. Was well read by Davizas, who scored the winning goal, of course, a week ago against Sunderland. In fact, he scored more goals than any centre-back in Newcastle United's long history. Some claim to fame that. Young Jenas getting in under control. Distan, the Frenchman, playing well at left-back in recent weeks. Dixon. Bergkamp's up to Wiltor. On to Vieira, who took a wild swipe at that, really, and was fortunate to find a colleague. Now Pires takes on Hughes and beats him for pace. Great run here by Pires. Still going strong and earning a corner off Davizas.
That's exactly what I was talking about before the game. He really does have the ability to either go inside or outside. He really does leave Aaron Hughes for dead. And actually, this was very crucial. He could have quite easily have given a penalty away.
Hughes now deputed to Mark Wiltor. Plenty of threats for Newcastle to deal with here, but Gibbon made sure that none of those threats materialised. The throw out to Laurent Robert. Bergkamp came to win it back. And a frantic pace early on here. Sylvain Wiltord. Well, that's too easy, too careless. Newcastle build themselves with O'Brien and Hughes. And O'Brien now leaving it to Solano. Distan down the left flank. Controlled a difficult ball exceptionally well. Clearance by Sol Campbell. Bergkamp winning it back for Arsenal. Wiltor beaten in the sliding challenge, but Newcastle sharp themselves in that area. There's Distan. Well, suddenly it broke to Amiobi, and he's got Shearer well placed here. Very important interception that. Alan Shearer doesn't miss from inside the 6-yard box.
Oh, I'm not sure what Stepanovs was doing there. He really did go walkabout. Very nearly paid the penalty. Arsenal, some sloppy defending.
Speed making himself available on the near post. It never reached him, and indeed the referee has seen that as a foul on Stepanovs. Free kick to Arsenal.
Well, this is the area of the field really that he shouldn't have allowed to get into. There you can see Stepanovs tries to win an early challenge, but have a look at Luzhny's positioning there. Absolutely brilliant. Gets across Alan Shearer when Shearer looked as if he was about to convert one. It's a very nearly good chance set up from court.
Arsenal haven't lost a game in the Premiership since Newcastle beat them 3-1 at Highbury before Christmas. That's a total of 10 games, 7 of which they've won. Solano trying to feed Amiobi, who's got pace. Stepanovs has another little nibble to try and win back the ball. Luzhny comes to help him out. Solano's cross was good, just over the head of Shearer. Now Robert. Shearer wants it again. Too deep for him, but Amiobi on the far post was the threat, and that's why Luzhny headed behind for a corner.
Well, that's the ability of getting from wide areas, Newcastle United. You get Robert in the game, Solano, you've got Amiobi, you've got Shearer, very dominant in the air.
Difficult corner. Vieira was the first to meet it, and it fell kindly for Bergkamp. who had the calmness and the control to bring it out, but then an untidy ball gives it away. Good tackle. Not lost any of the bite in the challenge, any of the competitive edge, Lee Dixon, after all these years. Figured in 5 of Arsenal's last 10 games, in fact, after knee problems kept him out earlier in the season. This time we'll try the long throw again. Stepanov's head's clear. Beautiful control by Wiltorp. Well, he dwelt on the ball, and in the end has run it out of play.
Well, showing a good appetite for the game at the moment. Newcastle United closing Arsenal down whenever possible. Good little spell for the home team.
Fantastic noise here, second only to Manchester United in terms of support. Newcastle, they averaged 51,000 here last season, and it's even higher this season now that they've added some more seats. Once again, the Frenchman Distin will try for distance, looking for Dabizas perhaps this time. A little nudge from him, which went unpunished in fact. Always a threat on set pieces though, the Greek international. Just asked Sunderland. Serrano. Good football here from the home team. They've really taken the fight to Arsenal. And that's a free kick. Vieira's foul on Jenas.
This is where Arsenal are going to have to be very careful. There's a delivery from a similar area that undone Sunderland last week in the derby at the Stadium of Light. They have that ability to really fire crosses in.
34 there, Dabizas looked to for Gary Speed, number 11. Well, the delivery's got to be right, and it wasn't from Robert then. Bergkamp blocking. Shearer's layoff, excellent. Niobe comes to meet it, near post, just over his head. Comes back out to Robert, who can hit them from any kind of range, and does. Good challenge to win it back. Newcastle have come flying out of the traps here. Clearance was by Campbell this time. Shearer. They're attacking on all fronts here, but that cross much too deep for Amiobi, and Arsenal relieved that they get a goal kick.
Well, they'll certainly be pleased with a little bit of respite, but an excellent start from Newcastle. They will also be delighted with the pace that they've played so far in this opening 7 minutes. Arsenal will be a little bit troubled really with the way that his side have started. Just had that little flurry, didn't they, from Robert Perez on that left-hand side, but other than that, they really have been under a lot of pressure.
Newcastle have scored 52 goals in the Premiership this season. Only Manchester United and Arsenal themselves have scored more. Hughes guides it back to Gibbon. As you'd expect, the home team have an excellent record at St James's Park. Won 9, drawn 1, lost 3 this season. The only teams to win here in the Premiership: Liverpool, Tottenham and Chelsea. Stepanovs gives David Seaman a chance to clear, which he does accurately and strongly with the right foot. Dabizas with the clearance, but now it's gone to Bergkamp and on to Perez for Arsenal. Only Wiltorp in the centre, but then at the moment Loren arriving. Dabizas for a quick challenge. Amiobi. Well, Stepanov stuck to his job where he's had his critics. The Latvian international, particularly after last season's heavy defeat at Old Trafford. Started the last 2 Premiership games.
Well, they really have started well, Newcastle United. I talked about Bobby Ross, will be absolutely delighted. He would have been saying, really, let's take the game to Arsenal. You know, they're as good as that. You've got to believe in yourselves. A wonderful victory down at Highbury in December. Can you make it the double?
But Arsenal in great form. 4 wins from their last 5 league games, 10 from their last 15. If they win again tonight, they'll go second in the FA Barclaycard Premiership, just a point behind Manchester United.
We talked about weathering the storm, but they need this fella to have that excellent presence that he has done for the majority of the season in that midfield area. Jenas has started very brightly indeed, quite happy to have that football in difficult areas. Patrick Vieira really is the driving force of Arsenal. Only liken him to the effect that Roy Keane has on the Man United midfield.
Distance clearance. Arsenal runners up, of course, to Manchester United in each of the last 3 Premiership seasons. Their last title, 1998. Here's Luzhny. Vieira. Under pressure, has lost possession. Shearer on to Robert. Back again to the Newcastle skipper, Alan Shearer. Jenas. Distan. Robert to his left. That's a beautiful angle ball back to Jenas, who showed very neat control. Good tackle by Patrick Vieira, who's a tackle by him. Remember the set of Arsenal's first in midweek against Bayer Leverkusen. And how well they played that night.
Well, you think this fella runs out of scoring brilliant goals, but that started from Patrick Vieira winning that tackle in such a crucial area. We talked, didn't we, before the game about the pace and about the purpose of Arsenal. Fabulous tackle from Vieira. Bergkamp then spreads the ball out wide, and then Perez picks the ball up. He has this wonderful ability to look and see.
His 4th goal in his last 4 appearances for Dennis Bergkamp. And against the run of play, what a start it has given Arsenal here.
Well, they're so good, aren't they, Arsenal? They really are. They've had to withstand a lot of Newcastle pressure in this opening 11 minutes. They've had a couple of breaks, one from Perez and then the one that really has mattered, and that's the goal from Dennis Bergkamp.
His 10th goal of the season and the first time he's ever scored here at St James's Park. And he's given onside there to the dismay of the Newcastle fans. Now it's Arsenal's turn to look impressive in possession. To the goalkeeper who's cut off there for Dabizas. And now Distan's lost possession to Lauren. Just as well for him, Andy O'Brien's positioning was good. Shearer. And again, it's the awesome Patrick Vieira who comes to win it back. Lauren onto the goal scorer, Bergkamp. Perez. Bergkamp in hard again. Speed feeling Shearer. And on it goes to Solano. Good challenge. Amiobi. Great block as well. Arsenal doing all the ugly things as well as the attractive things exceptionally well. Bergkamp again. Brilliant skill, and what a ball for Wiltord. Well, Shea Given had to read that situation and play like a sweeper.
Well, he's certainly got a lot of confidence. Nikos Dabizas can do nothing about it whatsoever.
Well, we thought his goal in the Champions League on Wednesday night was special. That was even more impressive. Grimondi. Luzhny. On again to Perez, who is causing Newcastle problems down that left flank. And does so again. And wins the free kick.
Well, he really has had a fantastic season, Robert Perez. I'm sure the likes of Thierry Henry will point to the form of his fellow Frenchman, the reason why he scored as many goals. But when you take on defenders like that and have that wonderful ability, not only to go past people, but also to spot passes as well as he does, a massive threat.
Perez gave Arsenal a lead when the teams met at Highbury in December. After only 20 minutes, a stunning 20 minutes it was by Arsenal, but they still lost. He's got the confidence to try even from that range.
Well, it's a big test of Newcastle spirit now, how they recover from going a goal down. Would have been bitterly disappointed, but also would have been delighted with the way this side started. But they've got to get back into this game.
And a course, Arsenal keep intact their record of having scored in every single league game. 56 goals now, a total bettered in the Premiership only by Manchester United.
Well, you can see why their away record is so good, Alan, because they do soak up a lot of pressure, and then they've got wonderful pace, wonderful quality in certain areas to go and pick you off and really do some damage.
Yes, in fact, they've conceded fewer goals away from home than any other team in the country, only 10 in their 14 matches on the road before today. And Newcastle's confident start, for the moment, has evaporated.
That's the problem, though, Alan. You know, when Bellamy was in the side, you can do that. You can play balls in behind back four. But unfortunately, they haven't got anybody like that. Amiobi won't really look to do that. Alan Shearer won't. He'll come short. His hold-up play is as good as anybody in the Premier League, but he hasn't got those legs to get behind people who really are going to miss the pace of Craig Bellamy.
Gripping opening quarter of an hour at St James's Park. Newcastle came out firing on all cylinders, but it's Arsenal who snatched the goal. They've won their last 3 away games, Arsenal. 4 wins out of the last 5 on the road. And going for goal again here. What an important interception that was by Davizas. Flipped on by Solano, and the Obi can't get there, but it comes back to the Peruvian. Now Jenas. Good vision to pick out Distan. Robert racing forward in support of him on the left. Here he is. Amiobi, Shearer in the middle. And a wild effort that's actually caught Amiobi in an offside position. I'm sure it was meant to be a shot.
Well, we can only marvel at this, can't we? Super little pearl, and certainly any defender in the world would have struggled to cope with that particular turn.
Arsenal's throw. They haven't exactly silenced 50-odd thousand Geordies, but they've certainly made them apprehensive. Stepanos. Well, when you think what a patched-up Arsenal team this is as well, it adds even more credence to the way they've started here. And that's their throw. Speed. Robert Distan. Forces it back to Robert. And it's been given away by Gary Speed. Vieira. Raimondi, sensible as ever, just does it quietly and efficiently. Luzhny, who always wants to get the ball onto his right foot, but forced to play at left back today. No Ashley Cole, no Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. And here goes Dennis Bergkamp threatening again. Offside here, Shola Amiobi.
Good organisation at the back from Arsenal, but I do think we talked about the front two. Perhaps Jermaine Jenas, who has started this game very well indeed, looked composed in that midfield area. He has got the ability to make runs from midfield. He might be the one, you know, that has to try and get in behind this back four. If Amiobi and Shearer come short, perhaps he is the outlet.
Bergkamp, the crowd booing him for what they considered to have been a little off-the-ball challenge a couple of minutes ago that went unseen by the officials. Scoring the goal didn't help them to become fans either. Well, I think anyone who loves football will drool in admiration at the skills of Dennis Bergkamp this week and those 2 fabulous goals. Here's Perez, and Ruto offside.
Yeah, that's good defending from Newcastle. Far better. They came an awful long way, very close towards the halfway line. If only Sylvain Wiltord could have just held his run a little bit longer. You see how close they are to the halfway line. We talked about the ability of Perez to spot little passes.
So Campbell's clearance. Laurent Robert. And the foul by Laurent, the Cameroon international, seen by the linesman. They need a good delivery here. Robert's the man to provide it. Referee's not happy that Laurent has got away as quickly as he perhaps should have done to enable Robert to take the kick. It was a good delivery, and it was well defended. It's come back out again to Solano. Wow, many of the crowd thought that had gone in as it hit the side netting.
Well, he wasn't far away, was he? But there was certainly a suspicion of handball by Solano as that ball just came up. I think that they felt that the Peruvian had handled it, but it's a fabulous delivery from Robert. I think Arsenal are going to have to be very careful not to give free kicks away in wide areas. Not when you've got the likes of Robert on the left, Solano on the right.
An impressive 10 goals he scored this season, Solano. Dennis doing well to win it back. Brian comes out with the ball, and Distin as ever, providing an all-French outlet on the left with Robert. Dennis showing great stamina to get forward again. And no mean skill to win his team a corner.
Well, that's an example I was talking about. He was the player really in the most advanced position, Jermaine Jenas. Saw him for Forest a couple of years ago. He certainly has got that ability to do that.
Speed trying to sneak in near the penalty spot. It was too flat though, the corner from Robert, and O'Brien got the final touch, so it's a goal kick. Newcastle have won 10 of their last 11 League and Cup matches here at St James's Park, including the last 5 in a row. They haven't been beaten here since Chelsea won the game in the Premiership when they met in December. Usually poor kick by David Seaman. Back on the side after 5 months out with a shoulder injury. Campbell winning the header against Shearer. Laurent turns it on. Davizas just checks his geography, and it worked out nicely as he found Shearer, but it's come back in his direction again with Bergkamp all over him, surely. And that's how the referee saw it. Shearer the target here, just used his strength to keep off the opponent. This time, Robert. It goes from Jenas to O'Brien. Solano dispossessed by Vieira, who drives forward again. But any mistake in the middle of the field can be costly in this game. And Dixon knew. Shearer was right behind him.
There's 2 pieces of defending we've seen from Lee Dixon, one from Oleg Luzhny, who's been the last defender. It's important to cover around.
Robert with the kick again. Davizas half won the header, and Seaman gets it half clear. Back in from Robert, danger here. And in the end, Arsenal hold on, only just, and the danger hasn't passed yet. It has now, and in fact it could turn into a dangerous counter-attack. It's 3 against 3. Perez leading the way, Wiltor to his left, Bergkamp to his right. Newcastle have got men back now. Vieira. Wiltor. That was wasteful. was too high from the Newcastle man, but it is a throw.
You could see when Gary Speed got that ball, you know, he's so used to knocking balls in behind defences. Unfortunately for them, there's no Craig Bellamy in the side.
Good little spell, though, for Newcastle. They're a goal down here. Dennis Bergkamp got it. 10 minutes on the clock. Laura dispossessed by Distin. And the tackle's flying in now. Robert. Arsenal have a man down injured. And again, the magnificent Vieira steps in to win it back. But the Arsenal bench are very unhappy at A, the challenge on Lee Dixon, and B, the fact that the referee didn't stop play.
Well, he's done his utmost, the referee Neil Barry, to try and play advantage as much as possible, to try and keep the flow of the game. And it was Robert that you can see his foot is a little bit high, isn't it? Certainly catches Lee Dixon. Not sure whether that's right about the area he's had problems with this season. It's kept him out for a large part of this particular campaign.
Well, they can ill afford another defender to be injured, Arsenal. But a whole back four currently out of action. Absolutely no sympathy, as you'd expect from the Newcastle fans.
They just want their side to get on with it and hopefully get this equaliser.
If you're playing for the opposition, you've got to be strong when you come here. If you're a referee, you've got to be stronger still. Still an intimidating place to come, this. Shearer's header. Warren has gone in at right back for the moment and wins the free kick, in fact. Robert looks suitably gallically unimpressed by the decision.
Well, Lorraine will play in this right back role for the moment until they get Lee Dixon back on the field. They're going to have to watch that situation very carefully indeed. He's very experienced, Lee Dixon. And there you can see that the cut that was clearly caught by the boot of Robert. A late challenge from the Frenchman.
Dixon has rejoined the action. They've got a youngster, John Halls, who's really a central defender on the bench. And he was sent out to warm up just in case. But it will take more than that to remove Lee Dixon from the action. And it's his free kick that picks out Rougenay on the other side. Wiltord beaten to it. But Arsenal are picking up a lot of those pieces in midfield. The crowd unconvinced that Dixon was genuinely injured. They didn't see the graphic close-up that we did. And that had gone out before Dixon cleared it. Newcastle throw. Big clearance by Rougenay, could have Newcastle backpedaling here. Very calmly dealt with, though, by Andy O'Brien. A lucky deflection for Alan Shearer. Speed. Not too many options for Distin, and Gary Speed gives it away. Low. The outlet of Henry's pace there, of course, Arsenal. Not just pace that they're missing with his absence. Gramondi goes down injured. Again, absolutely no sympathy from the Geordie hordes.
Well, it's just a messy little phase at the moment, isn't there? There's a couple of late challenges. Fans seem to be more interested in what's going on off the ball rather than on the ball. And, well, it's Robert again. There's Wiltord for Arsenal. And that's a home throw.
They've won their last 6 games in a row, Newcastle United. It's a wonderful run that's taken them to success in the Premiership and also the FA Cup, of course. Remember, these teams meet on this ground next Sunday, FA Cup quarter-final. Long ball by O'Brien, headed away by Campbell. Breaks kindly for Newcastle, what an effort! David Seaman did well just to beat it away.
I'll tell you what, David Seaman did superbly well, but how about Lee Dixon's recovery there? Solano onto the ball like a flash. He really does let rip from 30 yards. But just look at the tackle from Lee Dixon. Really has saved his side because Robert was ready to pounce, ready to convert. Excellent defending.
And it's the Frenchman's corner kick that very nearly brought about an equaliser. Arsenal certainly rode their luck then. Pires dribbling across his own penalty area. You're not supposed to do that, but on that occasion he had no choice.
Living dangerously on at the moment, Arsenal. Good little spell for Newcastle.
Robert. Back from Davizas, who played a key part in that moment of danger for Arsenal. Sloppy ball there by Distan. He might be made to pay for that. Vieira on, Wiltord's offside though.
Yeah, there's one criticism about Sylvain Wiltord. He really does tend to go too early. Got fantastic pace, but this is the corner, and this is another chance here. Gary Speed gets up wonderfully well. David Seaman again doesn't deal with it as comfortably as he would have liked. I think it was Andy O'Brien at the end that slashed it wide.
Guinness. And it's also frantic in the middle of the field. You can forgive a youngster making a mistake like that. Bergkamp offside this time. Minutes of the half remaining. Robert. So lining up another long-range effort, perhaps. Well, he might have been better doing that, but it's been given away. Vieira doing his best to win it back, which he did, but at the expense of a free kick.
Well, this is certainly Robert territory. We've seen him score a couple of spectacular efforts from this distance this season. Remember one in particular, it may well have been against Southampton where he let rip from around about 30-35 yards. He'll look to get onto this ball here. And he could need a goal at the moment, Newcastle United.
Solano, the other option here for Newcastle. But it is Robert on the wall, perfectly positioned. Arsenal have got all their men back behind the ball, but there's space down the right for Solano. Well, the home fans scream their disapproval, but that was canny defending by Lee Dixon.
Well, I actually think it's great defending at the far post once again. Fullbacks have been excellent when they've had to cover around. He knew exactly what he was doing, Lee Dixon. That ball fired in from Solano. Well, you really can't tell when you've got arms flailing around in the way that Davizas and Dixon's were, but wonderful experience.
Speed. O'Brien looking for Amiobi, who was surely nudged, and this time Newcastle do get their free kick. Stepanov's the guilty man. Robert wants to take it again, but maybe this will favour the right-footed player Solano more.
Seems he's got a taste for it, doesn't he, Robert? He's put the ball down. So he's got in his eyes, he wants to do the play to try and create something for the home team.
Spot on, and it wasn't too far off target.
Well, he's quite ambitious from that sort of distance.
Well, there's one very special guest of honour here at St James's Park today. His name is George Harrison. There he is in the middle of the picture. He'll be 100 years old on Monday, and he's almost certainly the only surviving Newcastle fan who saw them the last time they won the championship 75 years ago. Now, suddenly Pires wins it back. Oh, what a very good tackle by young Jenas to stop it. And it was important too, because Bergkamp had gone off on his run in anticipation of the through ball. Here's Shearer. Distan. Good tackle.
Does a good job, doesn't he, Gramondi in front of the back four. He wins lots of tackles like that, to bits and pieces type of challenge, but he does it as well as anybody.
Gary Speed. Under pressure from Noren. Found a way out, but the referee's done Newcastle no favours. I think he knows that, to be fair.
Yeah, but he has tried to play advantage whenever possible, Neil Barry. Chance for the big guns to get forward. Davizaz, O'Brien, Distan.
Niobe making his physical presence felt in the middle of that pack, but it was Sol Campbell who got to the ball ahead of all of them.
Well, a lot of questions have been asked of Sol Campbell in recent weeks, and I think he really has come of age as an Arsenal player. Very difficult for him initially. He suffered an injury pre-season, but he really has shown some very good form of late.
Came off Vieira, and Campbell was the covering player again. Long throws from Distan, an important weapon in Newcastle's armoury. But once more, Arsenal deal with it. Vieira's clearance. It's excellent play by the home team to keep possession in those difficult circumstances. Solano skips around the challenge, finds Amiobi. Good layoff by him. Speed. Distan. I don't know what he was thinking of there, but it didn't come off. He gets a second chance. Robert. And for the third time in quick succession, Sol Campbell steps in to cut out the danger.
He's not happy with Solano. He probably went to ground far too easily, but he hasn't played that badly, you know, Newcastle United. Kept the ball reasonably well. Just missing that cutting edge.
Hughes' headed clearance has got Luzhny furiously backpedaling under pressure on Amiobi. And how well he did. We've got another match for you on this channel on Tuesday evening. It's from Ewood Park, and a vital game, particularly for the home side, Blackburn Rovers, as they take on Aston Villa. That kicks off at 8 o'clock. Blackburn drawing today against Bolton Wanderers in their Lancashire derby. And let me remind you that the match that had the most effect on the positions of these two teams saw Liverpool winning 2-0 at Fulham, and then going into second place above both Newcastle and Arsenal. Distan. Robert. Well, he played that between two teammates there, and neither of them seemed interested. Hughes in the end, looking down the line to Solano, who committed the foul on Luzhny. Arsenal have shown a different nature really this season. Probably the last couple of seasons under Arsene Wenger, Brian. Their famous defence no longer as formidable as it used to be, but as an attacking force, different.
All the moment it's 1-0 to the Arsenal, and that used to really be the famed expression, wasn't it? But they do tend to go on and score a few more as well these days. There's so many exciting players going forward.
Here's one of them, Pires. Laurent joining in. Roultord in the box, Pires beyond him. Spectacular clearance then by Distan.
Yeah, good break, wasn't it? Started by Pires. It was his header at the far post, you know, a little bit more belief. Could quite easily have been a second goal for Arsenal.
The referee thought that was an unnecessarily high boot there. And Bergkamp, the goal scorer, will take the free kick. Looking for the run from Vieira, it's gone in behind him. Oh, what a fantastic goal! It was beyond him, but not beyond Sol Campbell, who gives Arsenal a 2-0 lead just before half-time.
Well, I've been saying how well Sol Campbell has been playing of late, but it has been at the other end. But he really does come up trumps just before half-time. It's amazing, really, isn't it? Arsenal, the best part of the season, they tend to get Thierry Henry on free kicks. From a striker's point of view, you'd think he'd want to be in the box. This time it's Bergkamp. Plays a brilliant ball, and it's about the determination of Sol Campbell. Can he get in front of his marker? He does, and Shay Given has no chance with a header.
Only the second goal he scored since his move from Tottenham. The other coming against Chelsea on Boxing Day. And what a crucial goal it could prove to be. Now, can they get one back here quickly, Newcastle? The answer is no.
Short of ideas, aren't they, when you look at Newcastle attacking? So that's some good possession in certain areas of the field, but when it's coming to that final third for the cutting edge, the killer pass, or getting that goal, they really have struggled.
Well, they won't panic, Newcastle, because no fewer than half a dozen times this season in the Premiership they've gone behind in games and gone on to win them. Mind you, 2-0 behind to Arsenal, a different prospect. Here's Shearer, though, trying to pull one back at least. Good block. And once again, it was Campbell who made it. Hughes keeping it in play. The long-range effort from Gary Speed was miles off target, really.
Well, they've had a lot of strikes at target. Has tended to come from long distance. But Bobby Robson there, looking very pensive at the moment, thinking how's his side going to get back into this game. On the occasions we have been here, in crucial games in particular, the two I can remember were Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. Both came here and won. And Arsenal certainly on the road to 3 points.
They've got to keep their nerve now, Newcastle, in this critical week. Arsenal today, Liverpool, of course, on Wednesday, and then Arsenal again in the FA Cup quarter-final next Sunday. Andy O'Brien, this is Aaron Hughes. Pires made it difficult for him, he's done well though. Makes a change for Pires to be acting as the defender.
Patrick Vieira's really taken about 5 people out in row C. Really has lashed it in the touch. A few bobbles and pies all over the place anyway.
Bergkamp, brilliant skill from Bergkamp, but dispossessed then by Gary Speed. Suddenly they win it back, Arsenal, and Wiltord. Lauren to his right, still Wiltord. Good save in the end by Gibbon.
Oh, it's very nervy, isn't it, at the moment for Newcastle. Wiltord gets himself into a couple of shooting opportunities. He bides his time. He thinks that perhaps Shay Given may well have had his sight blocked by one of the defenders.
Okay. Well, night has fallen now on Tyneside. The temperature has dropped accordingly. And there are some worried people in this 52,000 capacity crowd.
Well, there's a lot of people who've been saying that this week in particular was so vital to the chances of silverware coming to St James's Park this season. This game, of course, today, Liverpool midweek, and then Arsenal in the FA Cup. Really is a massive 7 days.
Guinness. Speed beaten in the challenge. 2 minutes of time to be added. And suddenly, once again, Piers has got clear of everyone. Well, the block denied him what would have been surely a killer third goal.
Well, this is the problem, you know, when you lose possession, you're going to get picked up with the quality of Bergkamp, Perez, Viltord. They're so good at really turning defence into attack. We've seen it, not only in this game, but right through the course of the season. And this takes a wicked deflection.
Off O'Brien for a corner. Quickly taken. Perez is there, and perhaps looking for Campbell again, far post, or a shot. Only he knows the truth.
Look very disillusioned on the Newcastle United. That second goal scored by Sol Campbell. And it's going to need all the experience of that fella. Been in the game an awful long time. Maybe thinking and contemplating about his half-time team talk, how he's going to lift these players, maybe make some substitutions.
Looking for Amiobi, whose header easily collected by David Seaman. Davizas again. Guinness. Hughes. Solano. Bergkamp trying to win it back. Newcastle get a free kick. They'll only just about be enough time to take it. So this really their final opportunity of the half to reduce the deficit. Davizas goes up with David Seaman. A good strong punch away. Robert. Danger again. Perez trying to get between the two Newcastle men and did enough. Now Bergkamp on the break. And the whistle blows to end a very satisfactory first half for Arsenal. Newcastle came flying out of the blocks. Arsenal resisted them. Dennis Bergkamp gave them the lead on 10 minutes. Then 5 minutes before half-time, a header by Sol Campbell from a Bergkamp free kick doubled Arsenal's lead. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2.
Well, who needs Thierry Henry? A pulsating match at St James's Park, illuminated by that wonderful piece of skill of Clive Allen and John Barnes. Next. Arsenal 2 goals to the good at Newcastle. Astonishing, really. Let's have a look at the table as it would stand if it stayed this way. Arsenal would be second in an hour or so and really closing the gap on Manchester United, in fact drawing level with them, really putting the pressure on. Arsenal just are playing so well at the moment, aren't they? And Dennis Bergkamp, what a week for him.
Yeah, it's been a special week. We were singing his praises before the game, and I have to say that you know, it started midweek with this goal against Leverkusen, which everybody felt was a piece of genius play. But certainly the goal today, he collects it here and plays the ball wide to Perez. And just watch him at the bottom of the screen. He continues his run, and he sees the opportunity appearing in front of him.
Absolutely superb.
Of course, and we were saying beforehand, they needed Bergkamp to do something like that for them without Henry today.
Well, it was important they did at that time, because up until that point, Newcastle were the side who were pressing forward with all the quality, and if anyone was going to go and score, it was going to be Newcastle. So it was important that they quietened the crowd by scoring that goal at the time they did. And of course, Bergkamp, the big game man, you can ask for anything more.
And if we're talking about big contributions too, what about this from Sol Campbell, the second goal?
Well, it's a great free kick from Dennis Bergkamp, and Sol really, Davizas is marking him, he's there, but he just gets out muscled. Sol's a big, strong guy, gets inside Davizas, and it's a great downward header, and Shea given no chance. As you can see, Davizas has him, his arm comes across, he may slip slightly to Davizas as he goes in, but Sol is just too big and strong and powerful. It's a great header, and as you can see, Shea given had absolutely no chance. But even after Arsenal's first goal, Newcastle got back in it, and they started to territorially and possession-wise, they had all the play, but Arsenal have got the quality, and that's the difference between the two.
Yeah, very early on, Arsenal really had to weather a bit of a storm, didn't they? And they had to take the sting out of the game.
Well, they had to, of course, because in the first 15 minutes, Newcastle had all the play, they were really pressing forward. I felt that here, Amiobi goes by, and it's a great ball coming in, and Luzhny does very well to get in front of Alan Shearer and clear that. you know, they have been defending well all match. Here once again, as it comes across, there's Lee Dixon.
I think the thing is we're singing the praises, obviously, of Arsenal's forward play, but when you have put a run together away from home in the way they have, you have to look from the goalkeeper and the defensive, especially the quartet there today. They've come under immense pressure. You know you are when you go to a place like Newcastle, and they've really stood firm.
Are we seeing something here about the size of the squads and everything else, and the quality in depth at Arsenal compared to Newcastle?
Most definitely. I think everybody was wondering how the loss of Bellamy was going to affect Newcastle. I think it has. They just don't have that threat getting behind the Arsenal defence. Shearer's been pretty quiet. Amiobi just been in the game at times, but I have to say that I think Sol Campbell has been exceptional. A fantastic defensive display to this point.
OK. It is edge-of-a-seat stuff. I can't believe you're sitting comfortably, but you soon could be, because we're giving away the ultimate in football fan comfort. This is the extremely well-equipped Lazy Boy armchair, complete with built-in phone so you can call your friends when their team's losing 5-0. It's also got a back massager, just in case the stress is getting to you. And as if that's not enough, there's a built-in fridge to keep the drinks cold while you watch the game. All you have to do is correctly identify the Premiership player with the record number of appearances. Is it A, Gary Speed, B, Roy Keane, or C, Tony Adams? That's the player with the most Premiership appearances. Call us on 0901 4747 543 or email us at premiership@itv.entries.co.uk. The lines close on March the 31st. We'll reveal the winner during coverage of Blackburn Rovers against Southampton right here on this channel. Good luck with that. Well, you won't want to move from the sofa for the rest of this match, that's for sure. It's armchair fan heaven, the second half next. Newcastle 0, Arsenal 2. Don't forget to catch the Premiership tonight, 10:30, ITV1 with Des Lynam, extended highlights of Fulham against Liverpool and Bolton against Blackburn Rovers, among others. And tomorrow we turn our focus to those clubs trying to reach the Premiership. Manchester City against Coventry City is live on the ITV Sport channel. The show starts at 12:30. But let's keep our focus very much on Newcastle against Arsenal. Can you see Newcastle coming back into it?
I think it's going to be very difficult for them. I have to say that I think they need to break through early in the second half, and possibly, you know, Bobby Robson will be looking to make one or two changes. He has Carl Court on the bench, Lua, who would give him a different option. So I think it's something that he certainly will be considering, because they've got to try and get back, I think, in the game early.
They had a couple of chances, John.
Yes, they did. They had all the possession. They had the majority of chances, and here was a good chance for Solano. Who volleyed it into the side netting. It's a great strike. We thought it was in at the time, but I think David Seaman may have had it covered. But as you can see, as the ball comes back to him, it's a great right foot volley, which Seaman possibly had covered, but nevertheless showed a sign of intent.
Another chance here for Solano too.
Well, this was a fantastic volley. Seaman would be disappointed in flapping it down. It's a great volley, but you don't want to push it down there. And there, once again, Arsenal shows their defensive qualities in Lee Dixon covering, because that really should have gone, either held it, because it's straight at him, as you can see, or over the bar. But to just pat it down there was poor by David Seaman.
Brilliant defending.
Great defending. Arsenal have done that all the way along.
And this is the corner straight after.
Well, Gary Speed, who's noted in the air, once again headed it down, and Seaman once again flaps at it and just pushes it straight down.
O'Brien actually slashes that. Alan Shearer is standing completely free in that 6-yard box, had it been pushed back across. But there's a threat, but it's when Newcastle are really playing at a high tempo and firing in the crosses. I think maybe they need to just change it slightly and get the ball into feet, a little bit more mobility.
And Newcastle at the back towards the end of a half seem to be a bit more stretched.
Yes, I think purely because they're trying to force the game, and certainly they're trying to get pressure on further up the field, and it does give Arsenal the opportunity. And as John said, they play with so much quality when they break out, and in particular into the final third. We see an opportunity created, they isolate Wiltord, he shows good skill, he tries to manipulate a situation, good stop by Given. And again, we see so many Newcastle players running back towards their own goal, and Pires away this time. He's looking for someone, but they eventually get a block on. And I think that certainly Newcastle will keep going forward, because it's just the way that they play the game. But I can possibly see Arsenal picking them off as well.
No changes for Newcastle at half-time. Does that surprise you at all?
Not at this point, but I think changes will be imminent.
I think the way the game's been going, Newcastle actually have if you could argue, goals aside, been the better side. So I don't think there's need to panic at this moment and make a change. But I'm sure if the first 15-20 minutes go by and Newcastle don't score, we possibly could see Lua, who'll give you something extra in terms of his ability on the ball, possibly coming on.
And no changes for Arsenal either. I'm sure that's no surprise, really.
No, not at all. I mean, as I said, and Clive said earlier, special mention has to go to the back four, because apart from Sol Campbell, you would argue that none of the other three would be playing if everyone was fit, and they really have defended well, so there's no need to change Arsenal at all.
Certainly hard to see Arsenal losing this one now, isn't it?
Well, I think if they were to lose it, it'll be their own fault. I don't think it will be anything that Newcastle will do. It's for them to throw away, I think, rather than for Newcastle to actually go on and win it.
But it's very important for Newcastle to get an early goal if they have any chance of getting back into the game.
Certainly is. OK, let's rejoin our commentary team then at St James's Park. They are, of course, Brian Marwood and Alan Parry.
Welcome back to St James's Park. No changes of personnel made by either manager during the half-time interval. And Newcastle United know they've got a very, very tough job on their hands here. Their recent record in the Premiership shows no fewer than 13 wins from their last 18 games. They haven't been beaten since Manchester United defeated them up at Old Trafford in January. But to keep that record going in the second half here, they've got to come up with some performance, Brian.
Yeah, they do, and I think that they need to certainly try and add a little bit of a cutting edge to their game. I think that's been a real disappointing aspect. Newcastle United going forward.
A dangerous ball straight away there by Davizas, who was actually partly responsible, I suppose you'd have to say, for each of the Arsenal goals in the first half. Deceived by Bergkamp and then beaten on the back post. And there's another chance for Bergkamp. And the deflection's taken it for a corner.
I tell you what, he should have scored. Davizas in trouble early on. Really does get caught out. But he ought to have scored, really, Dennis Bergkamp. It's a wonderful opportunity to convert the cross from Viltort.
It was Shearer who came to meet the corner. Well, what a start that could have been to the second half for Arsenal, having ended the first 45 minutes in such fine style with Sol Campbell's goal.
They just look very professional, look very polished, haven't they, Arsenal? I don't think they've played as well as they have done at times this season, but when they've needed to punish Newcastle United, they've done it on 2 occasions. And this is the problem Newcastle have got, because they've got to get back into this game, they've got to score goals, they've got to commit players forward, but they know when they give possession away, Arsenal have that ability to punish them.
And like so many teams in the Premiership these days, Arsenal finding it a little bit easier to operate away from home than on their own pitch. They've taken more points on the road than they have at Highbury, 32 compared to 22 in fact. There's Will Talk for that. Arsenal lead 2-0. Pires. Good ball into Bergkamp, who's been absolutely sublime with some of his technique today. Now a chance for Solano to get forward and find Shearer. He's got Robert to his left. Jealous. Solano. Niobe the target, and he did well enough, but Arsenal's defending has been outstanding so far.
Yeah, and I think they get a lot of players back behind the ball as well when they have to.
We'll talk for that. Taking on Hughes, and what a ball that is for Bergkamp, who's there again, and fails to win the corner even this time.
Distan's got good pace in, he covered across very well indeed. Clever ball, wasn't it, from Viltort? Just in behind Andy O'Brien, but Distan just did enough.
Bergkamp angry, thinking it should have been a corner. And O'Brien in a little bit of trouble now. Pires on to Vieira. Given to the rescue. And Arsenal have started the second half where they left off in the first.
Well, I think signs of any great side, you know, is when you haven't got the ball, how hard you work to get it back. And when you look at some of the closing down that we've seen from Arsenal today.
was almost like a back pass, really. Gary Speed's effort easily kept out by David Seaman. Dixon, Stefanovs, and Raimondi. Always in the right place at the right time for Arsenal. Shearer with a brave header. Now O'Brien. This is Hughes. Shearer there again. Solano. One for Amiobi. Now the crowd getting a bit frustrated with the youngster. Bergkamp. Wooltop. Perez. Wonderful acceleration by Perez and a wonderful tackle by Jenas to dispossess him, setting Robert on the counter. Now Shearer back again to Laurent Robert. Chance here for Amiobi. Very good block again by the outstanding Sol Campbell.
Well, he's had about 3 of those, isn't he, on the edge of the box, Sol Campbell. Just throwing his body in the way. Good opportunity for Newcastle, though. Some good purpose about that particular attack. Won very well indeed, I've got to say, from Jermaine Jenas in midfield that set up that chance for Amiobi, but Campbell, well, Arsene Wenger called him the Rock, didn't he, the other week?
Well, I don't think I've seen him play better than this in an Arsenal shot. Now looked like handball there, I have to say. And all the fans in the main stand here who have the same angle that we have were on their feet, furious there that Newcastle didn't get something out of that.
Well, I must admit, when I first saw it, I thought that there was a fairly good claim for the penalty, but it's interesting to look at the reaction of the other players. Well, that was a decision that Neil Barry had to make, and Stepanovs, Amiobi, they get close. It's not conclusive, but Stepanovs really has got very close indeed to Amiobi. Tends to do that, the big Latvian. And certainly dangerous areas where he could quite easily give either free kicks or potential penalties away.
A risky moment, but Arsenal stand firm. Solano calling Amiobi into a better position, but it never reached it. There's Dixon. Laura. Good work by Distan.
Well, he must have known what Bobby Robson did say at half-time to lift his players. He'll be contemplating changes. Time is running out for them to get back into this game.
Makes his way forward and he's got some work to do perhaps to make up for his part in the 2 Arsenal goals. Vieira's clearance.
Well, again, it's fired in with a lot of pace, isn't it, from Robert? And you have to deal with those. And at the moment, Arsenal have done very well. Vieira, Campbell, Stepanovs, all got important headers.
Towards Speed, hooked away by Dennis Bergkamp. And then Dixon gets his boot through the clearance, and that could turn into danger. It's 3 against 2 at the moment in Arsenal's favour. Now Newcastle getting men behind the ball, but still Dennis Bergkamp with a threat, and a lovely ball for Lauren. Oh, it should indeed have been 3-0, that is.
Well, how many times have we seen this from Arsenal? We've talked about it time and time again. 1 minute you're defending, the next minute you're attacking. Very suicidal from Newcastle, though. They leave one defender back, it's Aaron Hughes. They try and quickly get back, but when you've got the ability of Bergkamp, just look at the composure, knows exactly where he wants to play that pass. And Lauren, well, he's very close indeed. Shay Gibbon just gets something on it.
big for Campbell this time. Moved toward calmly forward to the big centre half, who wins, is it a throw or a corner? Corner it's going to be. Shearer there to clear. Niobe doing well, decisive play by the young striker. The first throw was too hurried in the end. But you can understand Newcastle's anxiety to get on with things. Jenas, on by Hughes. Robert, Amiobi, sets it up to the youngster. Well, his frustration provides the perfect commentary, always underneath it.
Disappointing finish, good move from Newcastle, good crisp passing. They get themselves into the danger area very well indeed. He'll be disappointed not to have hit the target from there, young Jenas. But Loire, actually I thought that Bobby might have gone for him, you know, at the beginning of the game. I think with his pace, he's unpredictable. He isn't a Craig Bellamy, that's for sure, but he can cause problems. I just think that Newcastle this season have been so used to getting the ball in behind defenders, getting sides turned, and they've missed that today.
Yes, it seems a remarkable thing to say about, in Thierry Henry's case, the top scorer in the Premiership. I'll come back to that as Bergkamp threatens once again. I was going to say that Newcastle have missed Bellamy, perhaps more than Arsenal have missed Henry. Pires coming in to win it back for Arsenal, now lying injured from that challenge. Ramondi, lovely ball. Bergkamp. Pires back on his feet. And now Newcastle get a free kick, and Davies lets his frustration get the better of him.
Oh, he's going to have to be careful. The whole team, they're going to have to be careful. They find themselves 2-0 down, but they need to keep themselves composed, focused. You just wonder where a goal's going to come from for Newcastle.
Amiobi leaves it to Solano. Now Robert, Distin getting forward in support of him. Robert goes for the cross, Shearer goes for the header! And his old England colleague, David Seaman, denies him.
Well, I wondered where Newcastle would get a goal from. It's no surprise, really, across from the left-hand side. Far too much space afforded to Robert. It's a great delivery.
Vieira knocking that clear. Given delivering it again in the direction of Shearer, who wins another header, but Amiobi couldn't reach the knockdown.
That was a fabulous header, wasn't it, from Alan Shearer? What you would expect, getting across the defender. But David Seaman equal to the task.
Amiobi, Shearer, what strength he had there, and it looks suspiciously like a foul, but Mr. Barry has given nothing. Offside at the other end against Lauren.
That's sometimes always very difficult, you know, because Alan Shearer is as good as anybody backing into defenders. You can see his shoulder, you can see that Sol Campbell was incensed, but Sol Campbell standing firm. A very strong defender indeed, and he's shown all that strength and commitment.
That is us. On by Gary Speed. He gets it back again. Now Robert. Ooh, well, it looked for a second there as though Campbell may have misjudged it, but obviously he got the shout from David Seaman.
Well, he thought he got the shout anyway.
Yeah. Well, it does take an outstanding team performance to find yourselves 2-0 up at St James's Park, but I must say at one end of the field, Sol Campbell, and at the other end, Dennis Bergkamp, have been truly outstanding for Arsenal.
Yeah, they have, and I think it's important that you need your big players to give big performances on a big stage, and that's what the likes of Bergkamp and Campbell have done today.
And Vieira, neatly positioned between the two of them, has also been excellent. Pires. Gibbons clearance straight to Luzhny. Gets it back from Vieira and keeps going here. Oh, what a good effort.
Well, he sensed one, didn't he? Was his nickname the Horse? He certainly showed all the strength of a horse in the way that he just fights a couple of defenders off. A wonderful volley, and it's an equally good save from Shay Given. I talked about the form that he's been in this season.
Luzhny denied what would have been his first ever Arsenal goal, coming up to an hour of the game gone. They still lead 2-0. Pires shooting through the crowd, and that could have deflected absolutely anywhere.
So nearly a second goal for Sol Campbell as well. Doesn't hit this particularly cleanly, but when you've got players in the way, you never know where this is going to go. And there you can see Sol Campbell. He'll tell you he meant it.
Well, it's been a terrific performance by Arsenal. Remember, Newcastle have won 17 of their 27 Premiership matches before tonight. Only Manchester United have won more than that.
I think it won't be long before we see Lawala.
Babizas claims that got a final touch off an Arsenal defender, but it is a goal kick.
Yeah, I think Bobby's got to start thinking about making changes. And you can see now, that's the player that we've talked about. He's unpredictable. You never know quite what he's going to do next. You've got to find the right position for him, but he does love to take defenders on. And he can perhaps just give you that little bit of a surge that Newcastle are missing at the moment.
Shearer, typical Shearer, that did so well. And typical Campbell got it away from danger with a minimum of fuss. Solano, Jenneth. Chance for Solano to cross. Shearer on the far post, but that's too far. Linesman indicates that Robert was fouled by Lee Dixon. Bergkamp it was, back denying Solano the chance of a first-time cross. Both Babizas and O'Brien forward for distance throw. David Seaman with a very impressive collection.
Well, that's important, I feel, from either throw-ins or corners. If you've got your goalkeeper committed to come and take in situations like that. So many players around the box.
O'Brien. Hughes. Arsenal quite happy to see Newcastle exchanging passes in this part of the field. Now the crowd warning where the challenge was coming from. Great skill. Well, they're absolutely furious here that they didn't get a free kick out of that.
Well, I've some sympathy from Gabs' point of view, but I've also some sympathy from the referee's point of view, because I think the Greek defender was looking for the free kick. He did brilliantly, you know. He's actually gone past 3 Arsenal players, but when he went down, Patrick Vieira's come across, very nearly took his head off.
Well, they can't believe it. Messrs Shearer and Speed underlining their point, but it's too late now. It's too late as well for Shola Amiobi. He's being taken off to be replaced by Lomana Tresor Luar, the 21-year-old, recently back from representing Congo in the African Nations Cup tournament, and hasn't played in the Premiership, in fact, for a couple of months now. Most of his appearance for Newcastle have been as the substitute. Bobby Robson sent on is a bundle of tricks to try and get something out of this Arsenal defence, which has played so well today. Certainly a very young Newcastle team out there now. O'Brien leaves it to Distin. Loa gets his first touch, just played it in behind Shearer, but not Janus, who makes very impressive ground all the way into the penalty area, in fact. Stepanovs with the clearance.
Well, I talked earlier, didn't I, about the ability of this young man to make those surges from midfield. But there was no surprise, you know, the ball went forward, it went in behind. Loa able to get and do the type of stuff that Bellamy's been doing for the best part of the season. They've missed that, Newcastle.
Stepanov's clearance. Tight situation for Laura, and he'll be delighted to get a goal kick out of that. Remember that if Arsenal go on to win tonight, they will move up to second place in the FA Barclaycard Premiership, and they'll be 1 point behind Manchester United, who still have to play, of course, this weekend against Derby County tomorrow. These two teams will meet again next Saturday in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Hughes. Shearer.
And again, you know, Gilles Gramondi, he's a player just snapping away at Alan Shearer, trying to protect his back four whenever Shearer's got the ball into him. It's been Gramondi that's done that. Very good screening job for Arsenal.
Speed. I'm not sure he intended it to be quite so firmly delivered as that. Comes to take the return ball. Well played, Luznik. Perez. Gives it away to Janus. Then the challenge by Grimondi. Dabizas. Hughes on to Solano. Campbell gets there ahead of Loa. And Arsenal can breathe again, their throw.
Well, they've had to work hard, Arsenal, and I think that when you look at the type of work that Dennis Bergkamp has done for his side, Robert Perez, Grimondi just in front of that back four, Lauren on that right-hand side, shown a real collectedness as a team, and it's so important when you come to places like St James's Park. You all stick together.
Foul given against Patrick Vieira then. Solano's free kick arrowed into the crowd of players, but David Seaman knew exactly where it was going and knew that it was going to be his. Impressive clearance as well. Bergkamp dispossessed by Janus. Getting up ahead of steam again here, the home team, but still two adrift. Shearer. Well, for a right-footed player forced to play at left back, Oleg Luzny can be well pleased with his display. But who hasn't performed well for Arsenal tonight? O'Brien. On to Dabizas. Lualua takes over and dances his way through the crowd with no joy in the end.
Well, that's what you have to accept from the youngster. It's very frustrating at times, but it's not bad, is it, when you're 2-0 up and you can bring the likes of Kanu on.
And the man he replaces, Dennis Bergkamp, boos from the home fans, but a standing ovation from those who travelled from North London for a man whose wonderful technique has never been better displayed than in Arsenal's first goal.
That was worth the admission money alone, wasn't it, to see that turn and that goal from Dennis Bergkamp. Absolutely brilliant performance, but not just that, just his work rate. You know, the fact that he's put in a good shift for his football team this afternoon. He thoroughly deserved the ovation from the Arsenal fans.
Now it's Kanu's turn for the night shift. We've got about, 20 minutes to go. Guerra. Good turn by Wiltord. Kanu wants it back. On to Perez, though. Rimondi. Laura. Kanu again, getting straight into the action impressively here. Oh, wonderful piece of skill on the byline. How on earth he did that, I'll never know.
He's got to start showing a little bit more composure to his game, hasn't he, Kanu? He's unbelievable.
Referees let that challenge by Vieira go. But he's not going to let that tackle go.
It must have been a follow-through by Robert Perez and Nikos Dabizas. And Neil Barry, the referee, he's tried to keep the flow of the game, but he had no alternative, really. There you can see the challenge at about the hip area.
First yellow card of the game, and it goes to Robert Pires. So far, it's not been a very good night one way or another for Nikos Dabizas. Just shows you the contrasting fortunes of football. The hero, of course, with a winning goal against the local enemy Sunderland last week. Pires. Raimondi on to Kanu. Perez takes over again. That loose ball gives Newcastle a chance. Distan. Oh, brilliant, Vieira.
You really do get the feeling, you know, whenever Arsenal want to push the button, they can do. They've just got another gear. A sign of the quality side, a side that I believe will come very close indeed to winning this year's Premier League.
And also, it's worth repeating again, when you think of some of the players that Arsene Wenger couldn't pick today, just pick one or two of them out. Ashley Cole has been a regular all season. Ljungberg, Parler's suspended. No Thierry Henry, the leading goal scorer. No Adams, no Keown, and on it goes.
It's also a sign of a good team, and really when you've got a good squad. And I think when you look at the amount of injuries you've talked about, but you've still got Edu, you've got Kanu on the bench, that quality that you can always introduce whenever you want.
And they're edging towards that final quarter of an hour with their 2-0 lead intact here at Arsenal. It goes without saying, it'll be a big, big win if they hold on.
They just look very comfortable, don't they? I think whenever Newcastle have tried to get forward, the composure and the ability of the back four, well marshalled by Sol Campbell.
It'll be a damaging defeat if it turns out that way for Newcastle, but it certainly won't end their challenge. However, a reminder, they have to go to Anfield and meet Liverpool on Wednesday night. Here's Gary Speed. Solano. Cleared by Luzhny. Now, from the joy of beating Sunderland a week ago, this is hard to take if you're a Geordie. But they've got to keep believing they can get something out of this game. And maybe here's their chance. Well, the block was magnificent by Stepanovs, and it denied young Janus another opportunity.
Well, it was a high five, wasn't it, from his defensive colleague Sol Campbell to Stepanovs. Again, Janus breaking into the box from that midfield area. Wonderful covering tackle from the big Latvian.
Only 20-odd appearances since he joined Arsenal some 18 months ago.
Well, you talked about those Newcastle fans. They shouldn't be too disappointed. They've had a wonderful season, this Newcastle team. I think they at times have played above themselves, but they've been very entertaining. And it'll be interesting to see how they recover.
Oh, good ball from Brimondi. Lauren, one of several really being played out of position, of course. Milton got a crack on the head then, and the referee gives Arsenal the free kick. O'Brien not too happy.
I think the anger of the Newcastle fans is that Viltord dipped very low indeed to try and help that header on. I think that they felt that Andy O'Brien had every right to try and go and win it.
Yeah, the old adage, if they duck their head down there, don't disappoint them.
Where did that come from?
Probably Bill Shankly. Most of the best quotes came from him. On Tuesday night on this channel, a very big game at Ewood Park as Blackburn Rovers, desperate for points to climb away from the bottom reaches of the table, take on Aston Villa. That game live, it kicks off at 8. Well, the home fans are pretty dissatisfied with the way the game's gone, even more dissatisfied with one or two of Mr. Barry's decisions. Arsenal continue to frustrate them by keeping the ball and keeping their 2-0 lead, and they almost got something else then. O'Brien with a difficult decision to make. Corner.
Well, they've shown the necessary composure, Arsenal, when they've needed to. You know, just on that right-hand side, a couple of minutes spent really just keeping the ball, getting yourself into the area when you may then be able to slot a ball into the danger area.
I think it was Vieira who got the final touch on that. Arsenal's goal difference currently stands at plus 26. Liverpool's went up to plus 22 earlier in the day with that 2-0 victory against Fulham. So it's Arsenal who will move in the shadow of Manchester United if they can hold on here. Canu. Now Vieira. Wilton. Here's Perez. Canu. Keep ball time for Arsenal, and that's something they're very good at doing. The commentator's curse strikes again, however, as Wiltord gives it away. Drifted out to the left.
Just struggled to make an impression, haven't they, Newcastle United? Had a lot of the ball without really creating any gilt-edged chances.
Carno. Wonderful the way he held play up there. Look at that. He's gone for a walk in the park.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yes. Vieira. The referee didn't like the challenge by Gary Speed.
Just taking the pace out of anything Newcastle can throw at them at the moment. Just keeping the ball, making Newcastle work hard to get it back. Counting down the clock.
Stepanovs. Campbell. Well, Bobby Robson is about to bring on Carl Court. Whether he has enough time to make the necessary impact, who knows, but it's certainly a big breakthrough for him. It'll be his first appearance in the first team this season.
Well, it'll certainly be a welcome sight, I think, for the Newcastle fans to have Carl Court back into contention, having missed so much this season.
Speed dispossessed by Grimondi. Now Lualua. Naby's asked with the sweeping ball, taken brilliantly by Shearer on the chest. Oh, Campbell's made his first mistake of the game and got away with it.
One player in the box, though, Alan. When Alan Shearer made that cross, I think that just shows you really what Newcastle United, their players, what must be going through their mind at the moment. Great disappointment. They knew it was such a big game, this one against Arsenal.
Another free kick for the visitors, and another opportunity now, and he's going to take this one for Bobby Robson to make his substitution. Carl Court, who was injured, got a bad ankle problem in pre-season, and then when he was on his way back, got a knee injury. He's going to replace Aaron Hughes. Big round of applause for Carl Court, who's been so desperately unlucky since he came here from Wimbledon. He also missed something like 6 months of last season through injury.
Well, they just slotted Solano into that right-back position. Lualua will probably play on this right-hand side, or look certainly to float around the front two now of Court and Shearer.
Urgency now about everything Newcastle do. If they could get one goal back, it could be an uneasy ending to the game for Arsenal.
You just wonder where that one goal's going to come from, though, Alan. Really, Arsenal have defended so well. Whether they can get Robert or Solano in wide areas, firing balls into the box, and maybe get something from a set piece, but you really are clutching it.
Well, Kanu was playing his one-man band again then, and looked as though he was fouled. Can't be a much better player than him to put on if you just want to hold on to the ball. Shearer to Solano. Janis. Carl Court ahead of him now, of course, another option, but he's run into trouble. O'Brien for Newcastle. Lualua takes over. Got that lovely languid way of just going past people. Now Robert's shot, save Lualua. The linesman's flag has gone up. Nothing would have counted anyway. Now Newcastle are furious, believing they should have a penalty, but the first decision was offside.
Well, it'll be interesting to see Lualua's position as Robert lets rip. He is offside. But just again, have a look at the reaction of the Arsenal defender, Sol Campbell. May well have been a little bit clumsy from David Seaman. It's a great strike from 25 yards, but Lualua just straight offside.
Still to score, incidentally, in a league game. Lualua for Newcastle. He must have thought his chance had come then. Distin. Shearer battling away as ever. Never gives up on anything. O'Brien. Solano down the right. Plenty forward now. Carl Court was one of them. He was the intended target. Stepanov's got it clear. Jenas. Loa. Speed. Once again, Loa on the ball. And again. But that great red wall of Arsenal is proving to be impenetrable at the moment.
Oh, fantastic defending. Yeah, it's all right getting players behind the ball, but you've got to get them behind the ball with a purpose. And that's to defend correctly, and that's exactly what Arsenal have done.
Just over the line there before the little back heeler from Vieira. Moving towards the last 5 minutes now, and Arsenal themselves are going to make a change. Edu, the young Brazilian midfielder, ready to come on as Dabizas takes Newcastle forward. Campbell solid as a rock again. Pires, Vieira, chance of a break here perhaps. Wiltord, Pires has made ground ahead of him. If he delivers the right ball here, well, they're more intent on just keeping that ball at the moment. It's been a thoroughly polished, professional Arsenal performance, particularly in the light of having so many players missing. Pires. Looking for a bit of icing on the cake, perhaps. Not going to come this time. The Brazilian still waits for the signal. As Gary Speed delivers one too long. Well, the most exciting FA Barclaycard Premiership season yet. Moving towards its finale. A lot of points still to play for. A lot of games. A lot of drama still to unfold, I'm sure. But I think one thing's certain. Arsenal are going to be very much in the frame at the end.
Well, I think they've got so much to their game, really. They seem as if they've sorted out one or two problems that they've had defensively. It's been difficult for them. Certainly as far as consistency, picking the back four and staying with that. They've had to make changes through injuries and suspension. And if they can get that side of their game right, which they've done very well here today, going forward, I don't think, and I'm talking about Manchester United in this, that there's anybody as good as. There's so much pace, so much ability. And you really can't see them going into games where they don't score goals.
And so far, that's spot on. They have scored in every one in the league. Edu on for Wiltord. And look at that run in the last minutes of the game by Luzhny, the left-back, summing up the spirit and the sheer will to win that Arsenal have displayed today. And they have it back again with Canu. As usual, a perfect ball from him. Lauren taking it on and on. He's got no help. He had to keep going.
Well, he was running out of space and angle, wasn't it? But they're quite content. Arsenal to keep the ball down that end of the field.
Corner it is. So he's done his job well. 2 minutes to go. He's kept the ball in Newcastle's half. Bobby Robson has really insisted all along that he didn't feel Newcastle had what it takes to be champions. And, well, as I say, this is a damaging defeat, but not fatal, not by any means.
Maybe the first to concede. This is a very good Arsenal team. And that's no slight on his own side. They've done brilliantly this season to be up there going into March, and they've still got a chance, you know. I mean, they'll be disappointed having the knockback of losing at home against one of the title contenders, But if he can get their spirits up for the midweek game against Liverpool, then who knows?
Campbell with another header, this time straight at the keeper. And it looks as though Arsenal's formidable away record has worked a treat again for them. They're within a minute plus stoppage time of amassing a very impressive 35 points on their travels this season.
It'll be interesting to see what the odds are of them going right through the season being unbeaten away from home. In particular, that game at Old Trafford.
Yeah, remember, the only team in all 4 divisions of professional football in the country who haven't lost away. This will be their 10th win, the other 5 games drawn. It'll be 35 out of a possible 45 points. Incredible. Perez. O'Brien winning it back. And in a moment, the 4th official will display to the crowd how much stoppage time there is. Just 3 minutes. And that's not going to be enough now for Newcastle to salvage anything. And they know that as they make their way home. Once again, there was an Arsenal player to come back and make the telling tackle. Edu this time. Kanu. Vieira takes it on and will want to take it into the corner. Be interesting to speculate when the injured players come back just how many of the Arsenal players who figured today will continue to figure in the closing games of the season. But that's not the point. It is a squad game, as we keep getting told, and as we've seen today. Robert. Lualua, as Newcastle mount one of their final attacks, perhaps. And that comes to nothing. Foul on Vieira. Perez now for Arsenal. Still got the legs to keep running. Impressive bit of skill on the ball by Davizas to turn away from trouble and feed Distant. Foul on the Frenchman.
Well, it's been very frustrating, hasn't it, for Newcastle United? They've run up an awful lot of blind alleys here this evening, but we've got to keep going till the end. The fans expect that. Certainly their manager does. We don't want to see any heads drop. There's a lot to be proud of this season, Newcastle United, but this is a very good Arsenal side.
Well, the noise you can hear, despite the presence of some 50-odd thousand Geordies, is from the travelling Arsenal fans in the highest tier of that mountainous stand that they're attacking in this second half. Their long trip to the northeast has been very worthwhile indeed. Kanu again displays that unique ability to keep the ball, and Arsenal display what is this season a unique ability to go on the road and remain unbeaten. A fabulous performance by Arsene Wenger's team, and a very, very important victory here. Dennis Bergkamp started the ball rolling. His goal on 10 minutes certainly came against the run of play. Sol Campbell's 5 minutes before half-time didn't, because by then Arsenal had taken a measure of control over the game, a control that they never lost threw out an excellent, polished second-half performance. Frustration for Alan Shearer and Newcastle United, but they'll be the first to admit, I'm sure, that they have been beaten by the better team today. And Arsenal go up to second place in the Premiership table, just 1 point behind the reigning champions and the current leaders, Manchester United. Brian Marwood, your assessment of Arsenal's performance?
Well, you can see the contrast, can't you? Both sets of players, both sets of fans. Really is joy and jubilation for Arsenal, and rightly so. Very polished performance from them. They were excellent from the start. You've got to be strong when you come to places like St James's Park, mentally as well as physically, and that's exactly what they were. And at times, when you needed that little bit of quality, that little bit of edge that sets you apart from the other sides, that's exactly what Arsenal have got. They had the disappointment of coming in this game without Thierry Henry, but I think it was the loss of Craig Bellamy for Newcastle that really was the important factor in this game. Bellamy really has been exceptional for the home team. Not so much his goals, but also his ability to get in behind defences. But Arsenal really were superb as a team. 2 wonderful goals and a richly deserved 3 points.
And 2 of the key figures in it, Dennis Bergkamp and Sol Campbell, are now talking to our reporter David Jones.
Dennis, how close was that to a complete Arsenal away performance?
Yeah, this was good. I think we're doing well away from home, and we showed it again in this game that we perform well, we know what to do and we know what we want, so if we get rewarded by that, that's brilliant.
So what about the timing of the first goal? It was a quality goal, but it came at a time when Arsenal were under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, we was under a little bit of pressure, but we soaked it up, and Dennis stuck one away. That eased the pressure for us. So they was on the back foot a little bit, and then we got a second. So kind of killed the game, but they kept on going. They got a crowd behind them, but it was a good performance. Yeah.
You said you stuck it away. I think it's probably a bit better than that, Dennis. Is that something you've worked on before, that kind of turn?
No, but you know that the defender is coming across, so you know what space you want to be to score the goal. So it worked out well, so I was happy with that.
You scored a good one on Wednesday night. Was this one even better, do you think?
Well, I think a little bit more important because it was the first goal and away from home. So yeah, it was overall a good goal.
Sol, you got a rare one too, but describe your overall performance today. Was it the best you've played for Arsenal, do you think?
No, it's a good. It was a good performance. I'm happy. We just got to kick on from here now. Just keep on going, and keep on winning the games. Really. Yeah.
Your manager says the treble is within your grasp. Do the players believe it?
Yeah, we're going to try our best. We're going to go for it. Yeah, obviously it's a long way to go, but we're going to take every game as it comes, and try to win all of them.
Dennis, is that something you've talked about, the treble this season?
Not really. No. The way we want to do it is focus on our next game, and that's normally the most important game, and therefore we'll see what will happen in the end, but we're on the right track.
One step closer today. Sol Campbell's our man of the match. Dennis, could you present your champagne for us?
Dennis, thank you.
Well,
Cheers.
Okay, thank you.
So Arsenal remain unbeaten away from home. That's 10 victories and 5 draws on the road. An incredible 35 out of 48 points. And this win takes them up to second in the FA Barclaycard Premiership table. Newcastle United down to 4. They go to Liverpool on Wednesday. 24 hours earlier, we're at Blackburn against Aston Villa.
So another tremendous away success for Arsenal. Let's just confirm the positions now at the top of the Premiership. Arsenal, in fact, now level on points with Manchester United in second place. They are really motoring maybe towards the title. What do you think, chaps? Are they motoring towards the title?
Well, I think if they maintain their away form, that was, I think, a big game for them tonight. And I think they showed all the class and all the ability. And the way they attacked the game, the way they controlled the game for me in periods was superb, and they deserved the result.
Sol Campbell and Dennis Bergkamp, very laid back as they always are after these matches, but they must be absolutely delighted with that.
Yes, they are, of course, because that's one of their closest rivals, and to go there and win 2-0, although their away form is good, was very pleasing for them. The defence, I believe, is what won it for them, because they came under a lot of pressure, and at St James's Park, I've not seen a team who come under that much pressure not concede a goal. The back four were fantastic.
OK, thanks for now, chaps. Lots more reaction right after this break.
On the wing! Come on! Pick football or acting? Not both! Powerade with Liquidate system.
Must join a gym. Got to get fit. Self-help, yeah. Need self-help. Must get in touch with your feelings.
Don't do this, don't do that, don't break the rules.
You can have whatever you want, as long as it's low in fat, low in cholesterol, low in sugar, decaffeinated, high in fibre, and organic.
Team meeting in 2 minutes. Must have ambition
To get your reward. Everything they don't want me to have. Full fat, high caffeine, maximum strength. MG.
Leather trim. Well, at least it's not fur.
Got something you want to share? Then do it with Alpha Telecom. With Alpha, you can talk to the world from only 2p. Opening your Alpha account is easy. There's no need to change your phone, line or number. Just call free now on 0800 376 2345 and talk to the world from only 2p. Alpha Telecom, live life to the full. Share your experience. Call free now on 0800 376 2345.
She interested him. She intrigued him.
Relieved of field duty pending an internal investigation into the charges, Special Agent Clarice Starling, a 10-year veteran on the Bureau, began her career with an assignment to interview lethal madman Hannibal Lecter.
The silence is about to be broken.
Well, hello, Clarice. Are you by any chance trying to trace my whereabouts?
Juliana Moore, Anthony Hopkins, Hannibal, showing this month on ITV Select.
Ta-ta.
Visit the Island of Memories. Free phone 0800 183 2002.
No style hairstyle? Move on! Fibre gum jelly from new Garnier Fructis Star with fruit micro waxes. Get flexibility with fibre gum technology. Get new style, restyle, whatever you want style. Get hold with fibre gum jelly from new Garnier Fructis Style.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Come on, son. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I.
It's not about money. It's not about fashion. It's certainly not about fame. It's the drama, the excitement, the passion. It's about finishing something you started. Taylor's Villa play Blackburn Rovers Tuesday 7:30 live on ITV Sports Select. To buy this match or for more information about the ITV Sports Select service, call one of these numbers now.
Welcome back. After 4 straight wins in the Premiership, Newcastle are finally beaten. Comfortably enough in the end, I suppose.
Yeah, second half disappointing for Newcastle because first half, although they were 2-0 down, they were the more progressive side. The fans were behind them and you could have seen them coming out and really, not steamrolling Arsenal, but put as much pressure in the second half as they did in the first half. But Arsenal played with a lot of composure, soaked up the pressure, and on the break, really, if Arsenal were a little bit more clinical, I think they could have gone on to score more.
Team effort, of course, but we want to pick out 2 players really on the top of their game at the moment. I mean, Dennis Bergkamp, we talked about him beforehand, but what a match again.
Yeah, fantastic match, and I think he showed all the attributes that he has. This is the goal. He starts it all off. He sweeps the ball wide to Pires, but he doesn't leave it there. And when Pires cuts in from the right, we see him at the bottom of the screen. He's involved. He can assure you it's not. It was a superb finish. But here, the Ranger pass. I think he has so much vision. He's a yard quicker than everybody else by speed of thought. He sees things, the pictures appear, and he can deliver. And again here, he puts Lauren in. He knows he's going on the overlap, and he gives him the opportunity. I think Shay Given made a small touch to that to push it wide. So I think we saw Dennis Bergkamp at the top of his game tonight.
Yeah, you think he's as good as he ever was at the moment? Because obviously he's not been used by Arsenal quite as much, has he?
No, I don't think. I think he is as good as, but in shorter spells maybe. He perhaps doesn't affect the game for long periods, but when he does, I think he is still quite special.
And let's have a look at Sol Campbell as well, because obviously scored a goal, but fantastic contribution again defensively.
Well, this is Sol's type of game. You know, I mean, when he's up against barnstorming centre forwards and teams who put a lot of crosses in, here was a fantastic tackle on Amiobi. Obviously, this is his goal where he outmuscles Dabizas. But Sol's all about defending, and when there are crosses coming in, people to put their bodies on the line. Fantastic header. I mean, it's a great header. Shay Given no chance. But for me, that was really the bonus for Sol. This is what Sol Campbell's all about. When they're coming under pressure, if there's anyone who's going to be the last line of defence, it's going to be Sol Campbell, and he relishes game like this. When Arsenal play a free-flowing game, you don't necessarily see Sol, but when he's called upon in games like this where they're going to come under pressure, Alan Shearer is the best at backing in and holding people off, but Sol today was superb.
I think probably it was his best game for Arsenal tonight, but more importantly for me, I think it's fantastic to see him in this sort of form. He even makes a saving tackle there, although Lua's offside when the shot goes in. Great defensive work. First and foremost, he's thinking as a defender all the time, and that's fantastic news, his form going into a World Cup.
Just explain something to me. Why are Arsenal so good away from home?
I think because they possess that quality in the final third. They break quickly, they can absorb pressure, but when they break with quality, and they play a controlled attacking game.
Plus the fact also, I think that teams, the onus is on the home team to actually attack, and if you attack Arsenal and leave spaces at the back, that's when they'll cut you to ribbons. And I suppose the home team, when they actually play against Arsenal, that's what they do, whereas at Highbury, they probably sit back and defend a bit more and don't leave space for Henry and Wiltord to run into.
Newcastle had a shout for handball as well at a time when obviously they desperately needed a goal. What did you make of that?
Well, when I first saw it, it looked as if it was handball by Stepanovs, but having seen the replay, I think it's much of nothing really, as they're both fighting for the ball actually comes down. In fact, both of them actually.
But why is his hand up there?
Well, I mean, when you're wrestling with a defender or a forward, you're trying to leverage for position, your arms do come up, and he's trying to push you off, you're trying to push him off. It's one of those things, but you know, and once you see the benefit of the replay, you realise the referee actually got that right. That wasn't handball.
It's amazing, really. Beforehand, we were talking so much about Thierry Henry, weren't we? It's almost become immaterial now, but they could lose him, of course, with this FA disciplinary hearing coming up.
Yes, I think it's going to be vital to them. In particular, it would be for the league campaign. In the Champions League, himself and Vieira would still be available. But you just see with the quality, and perhaps one of the biggest differences between Manchester United and Arsenal is the strength in depth. That they've amassed so much quality within the squad that's the reason they're sitting 1 and 2 tonight.
Had you looked at the game today, you would have seen instances where Arsenal, with Henry in the side, would really have gone on and scored more, I feel, because Newcastle played high up the pitch, and there are lots of instances where all it needed was a through ball, and I don't think Wiltord or Bergkamp had that electric pace to get away from the Newcastle defenders, and that's what they'll miss from Henry, because today, I think if Henry had been playing, 1 or 2 cases whereby Wiltord didn't have the spark or the pace to get through, neither did Bergkamp, that is what Henry would give you.
OK, well, let's get a view now from the Arsenal manager, Arsene Wenger.
There was a big smile at the final whistle. How much did this win mean to you?
Well, a lot, because it was a difficult place to come, and it was, of course, one of the important fixtures, and as well, we got a blow yesterday with Henry out and with all the players out, and but we were hungry, sharp, determined, great spirit again, and I must say you can only congratulate the players. They have been really magnificent.
Was it a case of the plan working to perfection today?
Yes, well, because we in the first chance we scored, and but we looked always well concentrated and well in the game. And when you think what some players did in the last 2 games physically and mentally, that's really great, and they deserve a lot of credit.
Were you concerned at all coming here with the makeshift defence that you had?
I'm always confident, because I think we have a squad of very good players, and that the spirit is strong and determined. We have the belief we can do it, and that's why I was confident before the game.
You said
but of course, it was. You know, it's a difficult game.
The way they're playing, are Arsenal the best team in the country at the moment?
I think you have to say yes, quite possibly. Manchester United are on a fantastic run, but we've seen their frailties. I think at the moment Arsenal is certainly the best equipped side to win the championship.
United, of course, play tomorrow. Some incentive for them again, I suppose, to see this match today.
Yes, there is, but I think the difference between the two sides is the Arsenal back four and the way Arsenal defend they don't look as if they're going to concede goals. You know, I think if Manchester United had played today and they'd come under that much pressure with crosses coming in, I don't think that they would have been able to cope with Newcastle. They possibly would have won 4-3, but nevertheless, I can't see Manchester United not conceding goals, whereas Arsenal look very strong at the back, regardless of who's playing.
The other important score in the Premiership today, of course, Liverpool winning 2-0 at Fulham. Do you see Liverpool as real contenders?
I think Liverpool will be there, and I think again it just highlights the squads that the teams have, and the 3 Champions League teams are in the top 3 positions.
And there's the top of the table. So Liverpool, well, nestled in nicely, really, aren't they? They have played a game more. Let's get some reaction from the Liverpool camp.
It is a big result for us. It's a difficult place to come. They're a good footballing team. You know, you have to at times defend well, and that's what we've done. It wasn't our greatest performance by any means, but I think there's sometimes when it doesn't go your way, you have to dig in, and that's certainly what we've done today. The lads showed some great character.
There's points there to be taken. We've got Chelsea and Newcastle to come to Anfield, and the rest of the big games we've played, if you like. But it's going to be difficult. I mean, any team that finishes above United, I think, will win it.
Clive, if you had to get your wallet out now, been in the bar with you, I know it doesn't happen too often, who would your money go on for the Championship?
At the start of the season, it was Manchester United. I still will have to stick with that.
Really? What about you, John?
Yes, I think it would be, because I think they're coming on a good run at this time, and while their defence is a little bit shaky, the way they attack, I can see them consistently winning matches between now and the end of the season.
I suppose the important thing at the moment as well is Liverpool, you know, they're in a bit of a sort of twilight zone in the Champions League. They could go out of a Champions League. Will that not help them big time if they went out in some ways?
I think it would be a big disappointment for them, because I think they're geared up to go into the further stages of the Champions League. Perhaps that might not be this season.
If you look at what they did last year with the trophies they actually won, it helped them on all fronts because they were challenging on all fronts. I mean, you could argue the case that if they don't then go out to the Champions League, they'll be fresher. They're out of the FA Cup, they'll be fresher to put a challenge on the league. But unfortunately, that's not the way football is.
OK, well, it's going to be fascinating whatever happens. That's just about it from us. You've got a couple of hours before we return with all the best action from today's Premiership with Des Lynam. ITV1, 10:30, of course. Then tomorrow we have the promotion race in Nationwide Division 1. Manchester City against Coventry City. ITV Sport Channel, that's at 12:30. There's more live Premiership action on Tuesday here with ITV Sport Selectors. Blackburn Rovers take on Aston Villa. Join Russ Williams from 7:30. And at St James's Park, the match certainly didn't disappoint, especially if you're an Arsenal fan. Newcastle's big week off to a bad start. For the Gunners, revenge was sweet. Bye-bye.